Alright guys, it's Justin again with another review. This is the 1-to-100 full action NSG-0Z0/E Durga I. This is from the Frame Arms line by Durga I. One of my favorite lines actually. It doesn't get a whole lot of love, but this is the standard mode that it comes in. You just kind of snap it up and that's what it looks like. I actually forgot two pieces. Pop those on real quick. Nothing too major. But this is a really cool kit. I picked this up when it came out probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that. And I just now got around to building it. I was going to wait until I cleared some of my backlog, but me and a good friend of mine, John, are going to be doing a build off on this, so that's going to be fun. But I figured before I get into disassembling it and messing with it and all that stuff, I'd do a quick review and show you guys what the kit can do and what it looks like and all that. So this is the base form. It's pretty nicely armored up. I think it's got some really solid proportions to it. It looks good just the way it is. Not crazy about the purple, not crazy about the gold, but you know, it is what it is. Frame Arms kits are pretty cheap considering what you get, I think. I don't remember what this retailed for, but the build was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And you know, there's lots of add-on options. Plus, these are all kit bashable and compatible with one another. So you buy two Frame Arms kits, they're completely compatible with each other. You just have to swap them around a little bit. So these are all the armor bits that add on to it, and all the other accessories and stuff like that. You get 3 different types of hands. There's closed fists, which are the ones that are equipped. You get expressive or open hands. Really like those a lot. And then you get grabbing hands, so you can hold weapons and stuff. The weapons included are a mace, which is really nicely detailed. Got a little bit of color separation going on. Some clear pieces in there, some gold, and then a lance. Also looks pretty good. Very simple, but still, you know, kind of detailed. And that can be wielded either way. It doesn't matter. Now, before we get into all the nonsense here, we'll go over articulation real quick, and I'll show you guys what this can, you know, what the posability is on this thing. So, your head is on a ball joint. You get up and down. You get about a full 360. Yeah. Shoulders have a joint here. They move up. Moves at the shoulder, full 360. You get full clearance. Now, this is where things get kind of weird because of the frame. It does do a full 360 under the wrist, or I mean under the shoulder, but because of the way the frame assembles, it's a little funky sometimes, so you might want to glue that together before you commit to assembly. You get that much of a bend before things start popping out. A little more than 90. Not the best bend by far, but good enough. And then you get rotation under the wrist, full 360. Well, not quite. If you move it out a little bit, you can get full 360. The waist is one of the weaker points of the kit, I think. It's got like this weird double joint thing inside here, and these pieces just kind of snap onto it. So you can finagle it, and you can see how that moves inside there. It's not a whole lot, but you get a good range of motion out of it. Legs don't move very far out because of the way the hip assembly is, but they can move as far up as you can make them go. I guess while we're here, we'll do the double bend on the knee. You get a neat little armor split there, which we'll discuss later. You can go that far back. The ankle is on a kind of interesting joint too. You get like this forward-backward thing. You also get some swivel, and then the toe moves independently. Not a lot, but you know, a little bit. So you can pull off some really nice poses as far as like wide stances and stuff. He can stand pretty far, basically as far as his hips will allow. and you can pivot. I forgot about that. You can full 360 under there. But you know, he can strike a very powerful stance even in his normal mode. Now, this also has a second mode where you can kind of armor him up, and that's what all these pieces here are. So these are his leg armors. They're a little funky looking. This is actually my least favorite part of the armor on the kit. I kind of understand it, but I feel like if this was less rounded and maybe like, I don't know, they could have done something with this. But you pop these two little pieces off here, and you replace them with this, and this plugs into the lower part of the leg, which means you lose your double bend, which is really sad, because I was really impressed with the articulation on this thing for being such a bulky, kind of knight looking design, and then you add on a pretty nice amount of posability, and you had a really stellar kit, but when you put on the armor you lose a little bit of that, and fortunately that's the only place you lose mobility on this thing. Nowhere else loses mobility when you put the armor on. And what would be a Kotobukiya review without pieces falling off? But there's the legs. Once you get them in there, they stay pretty good. And again, they don't look terrible. They look neat, but I'm not crazy about how far up they stick. Next, you want to probably plug in the chest. This is sort of unnecessary, I guess, but it adds a little bit of bulk to the chest. Just kind of plug that in right there. That's what you get. These pieces are going to need major seam removal. They just kind of squeeze together, and that holds them into place with kind of some friction. Nothing too snazzy going on there, but you can plug that in like that. You get some shoulder bulk, or I mean some elbow bulk. I think they go on like that. What do the instructions say? Like this. Really straightforward. They pop in just like that. They look good. These are the shoulders. The back sides aren't too detailed. Just kind of hang out, I guess. But they look good once you've got everything plugged in. There we go. So there's that. These are the backpack pieces. These are the most impressive parts of the kit, I think. You get a really nice range of motion on these as far as that's concerned. The mechanics are really nice, and the detailed pieces, while not incredibly detailed as far as like the insides are concerned, there's plenty of room for customization. So if you throw a couple sheets of plow plate inside there, that looks really good. And those just kind of plug onto the back like that, and they move around and all that good stuff, so you can play with those. And finally, probably my favorite part, the head, which you just plug into the front of the face, and there you go. So you've got a fully armored up knight now. Now the weapons you can kind of combine, so you can take the lance and you can plug it into the mace, and you get like this really cool looking super lance, which looks way better than either one combined, because I feel like the mace is a little short and the lance is a little undetailed, so you combine them and you get the best of both worlds. And it's as simple as unplugging his hand from this really nice polycap. Kotobukiya has really nice polycap joints, and you just plug that into the wrist there, and he holds it pretty good. Now the ankles aren't the greatest, and the chest kind of add a little bit of issue, but once you get him standing, he stands pretty well on his own. But I'd recommend, you know, using a little bit of glue to tighten up some of the joints as you're building. But he can hold the weapon up pretty good. You can actually probably hold it straight out if you want to. Oh. So, he looks really cool on his own. I really enjoyed building this. It was a lot of fun compared to some of the older Frame Arms kits where Kotobukiya was kind of, I guess, getting a feel for this line and stuff like that. But the design is really solid. The build was solid, and all the extra bits you get are really nice. While not entirely necessary, they add a really another dimension to the kit, I think. Another thing of note is if you can find the first run edition, all of the clear red pieces on this kit, or the burgundy, are also included in just clear. So if you want to paint them any color you want, there they are. So since I'm going to be most likely doing custom colors on this thing, all of my clear pieces are already here for me. I don't have to recast them myself or do anything crazy, or I don't have to settle for painting silver and then a clear color over that. These are the only pieces you remove for the transformation, so you might want to get a Ziploc bag. You get a decent amount of hands and accessories. A little lacking in the weapons department, and I kind of wish that he had a shield. But for what it is, he's really cool. He reminds me a lot of the Shin Musha, except as a knight rather than a samurai. Again, really solid design, very cool looking, really neat frame arms design. So, once you've transformed him also, posability pretty much stays about the same. You don't really lose anything except for the double knee joint, which, you know, he's kind of heavy actually, so you're not really going to want to be flexing him too much. But you can get him up on an action base. It's as simple as pegging him into the bottom here. Really easy to do, really straightforward. But there you go. He looks good. He plays well. If you don't mind pieces falling off every now and then, but once you get him in a good pose, which isn't difficult to do, he just looks really good. So, that's my review of the Kotobukiya Durga. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully you decide to pick one of these guys up. I really recommend him. And alternatively, if you don't like knights, there's the opposite version of him, which is a samurai. If you pick up the first run edition of that, you basically get a samurai that comes with, like, he's got a samurai sword, of course, like a katana, and then I think the other weapon is like a, I don't know what the other weapon is, but there's also a second edition where they've re-released him, and he comes with like some added shoulder armor, and a bow and some other stuff. So either way you go with that one, you won't be disappointed because you get plenty of extras either way you look at it. But that's my review of this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.